from January 9th, 2019, posted by The Sharp Edge 1. Whitaker speaks on the violent sex trafficking of young girls on the southern border.
So we're here at the White House today talking about an often forgotten issue, and that is trafficking across our southern border and internationally to feed sex trafficking organizations. And the President's leadership, he signed a bill today that is going to help us not only report the victimization of oftentimes the most vulnerable of our immigrant population, but also is going to give us the tools that we need to combat human sex trafficking and trafficking generally across our borders. And one of the things we see on the southern border is because we don't have the proper security and a secure border that includes a fence, a wall, and whatever the good folks at CBP and ICE and DHS want, we're seeing these violent sex trafficking organizations bring the most vulnerable, oftentimes coercing girls and young women to come across into the United States illegally, and then they're exploited by these organizations. And in the Eastern District of New York, we just prosecuted 8 Mexican nationals for these sex trafficking crimes. 5 of them were sentenced this week with sentences from 15 to 25 years. And it's really a huge victory for some of these crimes that oftentimes don't get the top headlines. And, you know, the people and the prosecutors and the agents that prosecuted this case will tell you that these victims' lives have been shattered. And at the Department of Justice, we also spend a lot of money on rehabilitating victims and getting them the necessary services that they need. And so my heart pours out for these poor girls and women who oftentimes were exploited up to 45 times in a given day. And it just really puts a human face on these crimes, but it also just highlights how our southern border is being used for all sorts of criminal organizations, including violent gangs like MS-13, drug trafficking organizations, in addition to these sex smuggling and trafficking organizations. And so as Acting Attorney General, and with the support and leadership of the President, we're going to continue to prosecute these cases and bring justice for these victims.
And that's from our Acting Attorney General, Mr. Whitaker.